Hello everyone, and I'm CJ Manastas, and today I will show you how to assemble and disassemble the system unit. So before disassembling and assembling this computer system unit, first we must ensure that there is no metal. Yes. So that's it, no metal. So we cannot proceed in disassembling the system unit. So first, we need to detach all the cables starting from the ATX power connector. When detaching the cable, we need to detach it side by side. Like this. And like this. Next is the ATX 4 pin, which is connected to the motherboard. Like that. Then the next is the ribbon cable. The first one is the ribbon cable, which is connected to the system board, side to side. And next is the ribbon cable, which is connected to the hard disk drive, and set aside. The next is the ATX power connector to the hard disk, side to side. The next is the connector of the heatsink and the front panel connectors. Careful. So, as you can see, the cables are now detached to the motherboard. So, next is the RAM. When detaching the RAM, we should not pull it, but we should call this open in the side and hold it on the edges so that we will not damage the RAM. And set aside. Next is the hard disk drive. So we need to loosen the screw. Loose. Then next is sorry. Set aside. Then make sure when removing the hard disk drive, make sure that it will not touch carefully so that it will not damage the motherboard. And as you can see, the capacity of this hard disk drive is 20 gigabytes. As you can see in here. $20 gigabytes. Set aside. Next is on the power supply unit. So the power supply units supplies power to the motherboard and also the heatsink. The ATX power supply connector includes ATX power cable, which comes in 24 pins or 28 pins or 4 pins. So when removing the power supply unit, we need to carefully remove it. That's it, and set aside. So next is the heatsink. And this heatsink suppress the heat in the CPU, and it prevents the CPU from overheating. Then set aside. Then after removing the heatsink, we can now remove the CPU, which is located here in the CPU socket. When removing the CPU, we should pull the lever upward and hold the CPU on the edge so that it will not damage, because this CPU is sensitive, and as you can see, we cannot touch the pins, and if we touch the pins, and this CPU will be useless. Set aside and then put the lever back. Next on the list is the CMOS battery. This CMOS battery is responsible for syncing the time in BIOS. So we can now remove the system board or the motherboard. We should be careful in removing the screws because we might scratch some circuit. So, as you can see, all the screws are loosened and detached. So we can now remove the motherboard. 1, 2, 3, go. When removing the motherboard, we should be careful. It is because we might damage any circuit. So, as you can see, the name of the vendor is Asus, which is located here. And the version, as well as the version, is located here, which is P4GE-MX. So, set aside. Next. So, as you can see, our system unit or the system case is empty. So, we will now proceed in assembling. We should always put in our minds that folly, first out, last in. So, we will now put the motherboard inside the system case or the system unit. Gently put the motherboard according to the holes. Yes, holes. And then, tighten the screws. One by one. Next. Next. So all the screws are tightened. So we can now put the CPU. So when putting back the CPU, we should look per portion which matches with the CPU socket. So it matches here and here. So we will now put the CPU, and remember, when putting the CPU, we will not use any excessive force, for it will damage the motherboard or the CPU socket. So, CPU is attached. Next is the heatsink. And as you can see, the heatsink is attached. So, we will now attach the CMOS battery. Again, CMOS battery is responsible for syncing the time in the BIOS system. So, yes. Next is the power supply unit. So we will now put it back to the system case. So gently put back so that it will not damage any other ports. That's right. Then proceed to tightening the screws. first, tighten the screw. Next, so that's it. And the next one is the hard disk drive. Again, the capacity of this hard disk drive is 20 gig. So we will now put the hard disk drive. Then put it inside like that. Then tighten the screws. So the hard disk drive is attached. Next is the RAM. When putting the RAM, we should base the location or where it will be facing in this portion. So we will now put the RAM. When holding the RAM, we should hold it on the edges so that we will not damage any parts. When putting the RAM, do not use excessive force, but push it from left until you hear the click and right. So that's it, the RAM is attached. Now we will put the cables. First is the ATX 24 pins, which is connected to the motherboard, which supplies power to the motherboard. Gently. Next is the ATX 4 pin, which supplies power. That. And next is the heatsink. Gently put it. That's it. Then next is the ribbon cables. This one is for the system board and this one is for the hard disk drive. So we will now put it accordingly. So like that. And next is this one is for the hard disk drive. So put it accordingly. So that's it. As you can see, the ribbon cable is attached to the hard disk drive. Next is the ATX power connector to the hard disk drive. And next is the front panel connectors. So I'm gonna put it there and put it here and then here. So what else? So that's it. But we should organize the cables. So as you can see, our system unit is now assembled. Thank you.
So this is how we disassemble the